Hey guys, welcome back to Diegesis. My name is Maple.
And I'm Arianna.
And today we are watching Breaking Bad. We're on season 3, episode 12. It's Jesse's girl. Jesse's girl! He's got horns. Root beer, no! Oh my god, root beer, no! So much root beer, no!
Hey guys.
That is blue. So...
But I'm good.
Yeah, you're great.
It's the tape. I'm sorry guys, I tried to not say something, but I couldn't help it.
I looked it up. New Mexico says all I need is a note from a doctor. Once I get my provisional, I can keep working at it.
Well, as long as it gets you safely from point A to point B, then who am I to argue?
Who has this? Is she dumb? On your home Wi-Fi?
It's like 2008 though. You know what I mean? Like
The FBI is still the FBI. The CIA is still CIA.
I know. It's not bright, but also I understand why.
How to hide a body? How long does it take for this to decompose? Are you dumb? That's so dumb. Girl, like Skylar is obviously not a true crime fan.
9 a.m. Saturday.
So which means
Again, 2008, you know? It didn't have the same hold.
Yeah, I guess there's still a lot of flip phones going around right now.
Don't worry, I won't be wearing bells.
Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Could you go in and keep an eye on your sister?
Sure.
So I was Googling things that would incriminate us on the internet.
Thank you.
I just wanted to talk to you about that for a second.
I love when you put the team on your back, though.
Any more about what we discussed?
I will say though,
More meaning reconsidered?
the
So show me the flaw in it.
car wash is a good idea.
Flaws, Skylar.
Took the seed money you won gambling, you invested it in the car wash that you helped run for 4 years. You hired your wife as a bookkeeper because guess what? She's actually a bookkeeper. Now that is a story an auditor can believe. So what am I missing?
You're missing that you should just take this money that I give you and not look too closely at it. God forbid I get caught.
He's
You maintain
Right here.
plausible
Like-
deniability.
Okay, my
Yeah.
estranged husband, who when he was working made $43,000 a year, starts shoveling money at me. And when the police come, I'm supposed to say, gee, I never thought about it, officers. Made sense to me, really. I'd rather have them think I'm Bonnie what's-her-name than some complete idiot.
Why would your estranged husband be doing all this for you?
Because he loves his family and desperately wants a reconciliation, though it may be hopeless and futile. Then again, he'd try anything.
I'm just not buying it. No, I think it would be better if the husband were no longer estranged. Maybe
They're exhausting.
back sleeping in
Like,
his own
can you guys just like each other back again, or like just cave Skylar or something? Like you're willingly going and getting yourself involved, so why don't you want to be with him now?
household.
Yeah, you'll run the business, but like
Yeah.
you're not gonna let him like stay at the house.
Every night, no.
6 nights a week, you get 1 night off.
Dinner 2 nights, not weekends, with 24 hours notice.
5 nights a week with no notice.
3, 6 hours notice.
5 nights a week with 2 hours notice.
4, don't push it.
And I want my own key to the house.
No.
For emergencies and appearances. Yes, I am going to babysit my own daughter. I'm going to help my son with his homework. I am going
Like they need to look like a couple in order for it to work. So I don't
Yeah.
know what her issue is.
How about we stop somewhere afterward and get a beer?
No, thanks. No. Maybe some other time.
Seriously. Get a beer with me. That's ours, right? Look at it and tell me if that's ours.
Yes, it's ours. Now put it away.
I bought it from the 2 guys who killed Combo. Combo shot down in the streets, and now it's our product they're selling, which means they work for our guy, right?
What is that? That's hearsay. Do you have any proof?
I heard it from the sister of the kid who shot him. He's 11 years old. Shot combo on orders. They use kids because, hey, why not? Easy to control, easy to fool. They used it to shoot my friend.
Get the kid out of there.
So
Can you
telling
could
me
you
this.
take the kid? I don't know. What do you do? What does he want to do? Like
I
what is
don't-
he what is his point here?
I need rice.
Oh my God. No.
Hey, they gotta go. Right? I got the entire thing figured out.
No.
The delivery method, everything. All I need from you is the poison. That's all.
No. Not even.
You don't get
Oh, because he's probably thinks he's gonna use the
You don't get the whole entire world.
prostitute.
No, we're not even talking.
Hmm?
He thinks he's probably gonna be able to use the prostitute.
Absolutely.
Twice a week. All right, she brings them hamburgers because they sit in their car all day and they get hungry. So she brings them food and they knock a few bucks off her price.
A meth head? You're trusting to do this?
You know what? That meth head stood up to your brother-in-law. Right? He questioned her for 5 hours. She didn't give it up.
This is a ridiculous idea.
It's ridiculous. What, so you're saying it's not gonna work? How about back when it was your plan?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting because Walt then will only kill if it's directly affecting him.
Cut rice, and 2 or 3 days later he gets the flu or a heart attack or something, and he kneels over. That's what you said. Untraceable back to us. Yo, it was a good plan back when it was Tuco, and it's a good plan now.
Tuco wanted to murder us. These guys don't. Apples and oranges. Do I really have to sit here and explain the difference to you?
Come was us. Man, does that mean nothing?
It doesn't,
Why didn't
Jesse. Walt
He
thinks
doesn't
he's
get it.
above you.
Yes.
Like
2 or 3 months ago.
Because I just found out about it.
It's a dispute over turf, right? I mean, how hard could it have been for you to track them down on their turf and kill them months ago? Because back then, you were too busy getting high.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
Murder.
well, Walt really hangs on to things, I guess.
12-step program.
No, it's not even that he
This is
hangs
not
out
some
onto them. He, like,
amends that you have to make.
make.
What you are talking about here is pointless.
he does have a point. It's
This
just
achieves
he's also
nothing.
right there though. Like,
Well, and my thing is like
Thing.
Walt, that's his argument, means that he's not actually, like, neither of them are willing to admit who the other person is.
right.
There's no way I can explain it to you.
They just don't like.
Yeah,
they-
like, they're not going to see eye to eye because they don't see where the other one is coming from, ever.
Murderer.
Jesse said to you he's a bad guy. He has chosen to be the villain. He said that to him in the
What
apartment.
is that?
yeah.
I know
but I
Walt
know
thinks
Walt
it's
still
simple to
wants
him,
it to be
like,
better.
Yes, I know, but it's just like Jesse already told him. Jesse told him straight up who he was going to be.
Or without you.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like, yeah. But I'm sure it's hard for Walt because I feel like Walt treats him like shit. They have a very toxic relationship, but also Walt tries to do things in his better interest, even though, like,
He does care.
he cares. It's just like
It doesn't come across.
the way it comes out is very odd.
It's always very condescending. Either way, it's always like, I'm doing this for you because I know better, and it's not because I know better because it's I know better because I am better.
Christ's sakes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I know better because I'm better than you,
Yeah.
and, like, you need to do this.
Okay.
Listen, you knock your way, Groucho, I'll knock mine.
See? I win.
Not too fast.
Marie has him wearing purple. I swear to God, in the last 2 episodes, he's been wearing purple as well.
Playing cards with your dad.
No,
How was your old man? Back teaching?
no. I don't think either of them are working right.
Yeah, at least swinging that.
I don't know.
Did you know that the doctor has told your Uncle Hank that he can get out of here anytime he wants to?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
Why not?
Is he in purple now, or is that just is it a purple lining, or is that black?
They went to Rome.
That's purple too. He's got purple lined pajamas, I swear to God.
The next slob in here. We went over this, Marie. Drop it.
No, maybe it's black. I don't know.
Are you not well enough?
Jesus, kid, you too?
Man, Marie
Is that
really
what's going on?
created tension
Shitting in
and
pants,
redirected
taking
that
pictures.
conversation.
Can't move my legs.
Poor guy.
So people in wheelchairs should be in hospitals? What about people on crutches? Maybe I should be in here too.
Oh.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Deal, you little prick.
Hank's so funny because he's like, you know, that's not what I'm saying, but he's just like, yeah, dude, of course. What are you going to do? Are you going to supply the ricin, perhaps?
Psst, bitch.
Saul
No,
is
no,
so
right?
funny.
Mm-hmm.
The kid ain't coming. Okay, so what's plan B?
You really think he's serious?
That's why I'm here, so. The way he was talking, he is going to do it.
Okay, so what? We pay him off.
No, it's not about money. It's about getting him off the streets.
Are you gonna suggest?
We,
Are you gonna?
maybe,
Are you gonna put him in jail?
could you get him arrested?
Called it. Knew it. Knew it. They can't technically go get him and put him on any type of. They can't commit him.
Into police custody.
No, listen, I know.
Pinkman in jail. I don't know. I'm picturing it.
Jail, as in jail. Jail. Talking about one of those situations where you're in an orange jumpsuit picking up litter along the highway.
That's jail.
Yeah, what?
Oh, what?
You're talking
Actually,
about
it's probably
a
prison.
level 2 joint.
but-
Something that keeps him
Yeah.
off the street for, say, 30 days. Then by the time he gets out, tempers have cooled and hopefully...
He just keeps trying to cage Jesse. You can't cage Jesse.
Low impact.
You gotta let him fly.
In the past, I've recommended Springer, but hearing chancy things about their bathrooms.
So it's possible, right?
Walter.
Well, it falls under my premium services package, but you can afford that.
You understand what you have to do? Never talk to anyone. Right?
Committing murder for
Understand.
her too far.
Yeah.
You okay with this, right? Just think of it like it's the same thing as always. You're just delivering some hamburgers.
But what is her?
Just delivering hamburgers.
Yeah, what is their relationship?
Hey, you got a kid, right? Wouldn't you do anything to protect your kid?
Of course I would.
These guys using kids like that, they gotta go, right?
I don't know. I think there's a different way, maybe.
Tomorrow, we'll be in touch.
I just mean, it's a lot that you're like asking one person to do. Like, when was the last time you spoke to her? What are you offering her in exchange?
I mean, I guess a big bag of crystal.
Was that what it was, or is that the stuff, the ricin? Oh no, it's the meth. Okay,
He left that for
Yeah.
her, but Holly is huge.
she a big old girl.
That's a big baby.
What are you doing? If you need to talk, use the phone.
This isn't a phone talk, Walter.
Oh, isn't she something? I got a granddaughter a few years older.
What can I do for you?
Oh. Have a
Walt
seat.
is always so like aggressive when conversations start.
I
Like
spoke to Goodman about Pinkman and this plan of yours.
he's there to talk about what you're trying to figure out. You just calm down.
I'm not gonna do it.
Why?
Because it's moronic. The problem is the boss wouldn't like it. So,
No.
my boss,
Gus.
Yeah.
your
Gustavo.
boss.
Mm-hmm.
This is a
Daddy
professional
Gus.
courtesy. No
Don't
one
make
knows
him
of me,
angry.
understand? But our employer would find out, like always. And if Pinkman were arrested, he'd take it as a problem. You got a good thing going here, we all do. You want to risk it all on one junkie? Now, I realize you two have a history, but this kid's been on the bubble a while now. I used to be a beat cop a long time ago. And I'd get called out on domestic disputes all the time, hundreds probably over the years. But there was this one guy, this one piece of shit that I will never forget. This lady was real small, like a bird. My partner and I get called out there every weekend. And one of us would pull her aside and we'd say, come on, tonight's the night we press charges. And this wasn't one of those deep down, he really loves me setups. We got a lot of those, but not this. This girl was scared. She wasn't going to cross him, no way, no how. Nothing we could do but pass her off to the EMTs, put him in a car, drive him downtown, throw him in a drunk tank. He sleeps it off. Next morning, out he goes.
Oh, he killed her.
Back home.
He had to have.
He kills her.
For sure.
She's dead.
And one night, my partner's out sick, and it's just me. And the call comes in, and it's the usual crap. Broke her nose in the shower kind of thing. So I cuff him, put him in the car, and away we go. Only that night, we're driving into town, and this sideways asshole is in my back seat humming Danny Boy. And it just rubbed me wrong. So instead of left, I go right out into nowhere.
Oh.
Kneel him down, and I put my revolver in his mouth. And I told him, this is it. This is how it ends. And he's crying, going to the bathroom all over himself, swearing to God he's gonna leave her alone, screaming much as you can with a gun in your mouth. And I told him to be quiet. But I needed to think about what I was gonna do here. And of course he got quiet. Goes still. And real quiet.
Oh my God.
Like a dog waiting for dinner scraps.
Ooh, his upper lip,
Yeah.
the mouth acting.
There for a while. Me acting like I'm thinking things over.
Walter looks
Prince
genuinely
Charming in the
terrified.
dirt, his pants. And after a few minutes, I took the gun out of his mouth. And I say, so help me, if you ever touch her again, I will such and such and such and such and blah, 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 blah.
Just a warning.
Oh,
Did he?
of course.
And then he did kill her.
Just trying to do the right thing. But 2 weeks later, he killed her.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just like,
Of course.
Sorry, also I didn't mean to hit you. I was like, oh, yeah, you were right.
We got there was so much blood you could taste the metal.
What a visual.
The moral of the story is, I chose a half measure when I should have gone all the way.
so he's encouraging him to,
I'll never make that mistake again.
that feels like an encouragement.
No more half measures, Walter.
He's
it's just-
saying
it's
he
so
thinks
cryptic,
Jesse
like-
either needs to be completely, he needs to
needs-
be either be completely done with Jesse or Jesse needs to die.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
what
yeah,
I'm getting.
like,
Because
it's
he's
like-
not gonna go
Yeah, like
and
it's
put
like
him in jail because he's just gonna keep,
like he's just
hanging
gonna come
out on
out.
the
It's gonna be
edge.
the same thing when he comes
Yeah.
out. It doesn't matter because that condition is still going to exist.
Mhm.
Oh, so where are they?
I don't know.
She set you up.
Around.
Gonna need you to come with me. Take a walk.
Where are we going?
Are they gonna go talk to Gus? I don't know what's going on.
That's what I would assume.
I don't think Gus is above making a deal to take out a lower.
I mean, but then he's taking two people off the street who are selling his product, though. I mean, I'm sure he could find more men.
That's what I'm
but-
saying. Like, it's like, I feel like within that, it's like.
But he already doesn't
within
like
that-
Jesse, though. That's also the piece. He's never wanted to do business with Jesse.
Yeah, but he's made a bigger contract, I think, with Walt. And he had Walt come over for dinner. So, yeah, see? So it's like because that's why I was saying in the last episode, like, they have like a relationship. They're like courting each other. So it's like, Walt's like, please, like, I need this to happen. So now the ball is going to be back in Gus's court for the next thing. So now Walt's going to have to be, it's kind of like they have this back and forth, like.
Walt probably never should have went to Saul about this, though. Oh, everyone's involved.
That's why they weren't there.
They're having a mediation. They're straight up having a mediation. I'm dead right now.
I understand that you have a problem with two of my employees.
It's basically an HR disciplinarian.
It is possible that they acted rashly, but on the other hand, there was provocation. This will go no further. It will be settled right here, right now.
Is somebody getting killed?
You
Is somebody getting killed?
Wait outside.
That's Walt's daddy, babe. Like, Gus is daddy now. Like,
You're not wrong.
that's his daddy.
He really Walt truly respects this man too.
Yes,
if not
like-
terrified. Okay, wait.
This man.
Ooh.
Those men outside are my trusted employees.
Okay, I might have been wrong,
Mhm.
guys.
What you intended to do. If it wasn't for this man and the respect I have for him, I would be dealing with this in a very different way. Don't look at him, you look at me.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. He is.
I mean, we've always known, but
This is what happens now. My men will come back inside, and you will shake their hands, and you will make peace. And that will be the end of this.
No.
Jesse, pardon me?
These kids, these assholes of yours, they got an 11-year-old kid doing their killing for them. You're supposed to be some kind of reasonable businessman. This how you do business? You okay with this? You got anything to say here?
Bring them back.
I mean, it is kind of cheap. It's like you two are grown ass men and you're using children to do your dirty work. Like,
well, I mean, at the end of the day, where does the bad
that's the
man
thing, it's like-
behavior stop? If they're
like,
willing
yeah,
to sell
like,
drugs, if they're willing to do
it's
that, like, yeah, they are. Like, this man sells meth for a living.
there's no threshold in
Yeah,
evil.
no,
Like,
there's no threshold.
Like, evil is evil.
No more children. Okay.
Oh.
Understand? And you
Yeah, sell it with your chest. I'm
Shake his
scared.
hand.
keep the peace.
You keep the peace.
Say it.
Yeah, I'll keep the peace.
What if the prostitute still accidentally delivers the hamburgers?
She didn't take him when she got out of the car. That's the first thing I looked at.
Okay, good.
The thing is, though, I am genuinely concerned about her well-being because they obviously knew the plot. They knew she was willing to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's concerning.
Walt just trying to save you, dude. Walt just doesn't want anything bad to happen to Jesse.
Yeah. He really doesn't. If he was just better about it, though, it would be...
But I mean, like, it's getting to the point where it's like the situations that they're in.
See, like this piece right here. This is...
They affect other people.
Like, they do. It's not wrong.
Sometimes compromises.
Oh, I hate how he talks to him like he's 5. Like, why do you expect him to act...
Reasons.
He treats Walt like he's like his angsty, like, teenage son. That Walt treats Jesse that way.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
Jesse. Let the people who get paid to do this, do this.
The people who get paid to do this do a lousy job. So I guess this is what you want, huh? Just lying in a hospital bed, getting sponge baths from nurses.
Marie,
It's time to go home, Hank.
sometimes I gotta tell you, Marie, not tell him well. Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just seeing.
My best here, Marie.
We'll see. I tell you what. If I can get the groundhog to see his shed,
It's not gonna happen, I'm sorry.
I'm betting it will. And if he does, you check out.
I, like, cannot...
On whether I get a boner.
You have a bet?
You know, she's a purple person, but she does care.
What? If it'll get you out of here quicker.
Marie gets things done.
She does. She does.
That's what I was saying. Purple people get things done.
It's just sad. I mean, it's
Damn, she's really going at it.
Marie.
He's so mad. Good for her, because honestly, we all know handies aren't the best.
Bad day.
I need a little bit more definition on Jesse's.
Tell me you're busy.
Grandma? Slow down. Slow down, I can't.
Gio, did they kill the little kid?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well, because even though he's a kid, like, I could imagine, kind of like, oh God, what's that movie with the mafia that you had me watch?
Oh, Goodfellas.
Like,
Yeah.
Goodfellas. He felt like he was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. Like, I'm ready to do this. Like, let me join, right? He wanted to be this mobster when he was younger, and, like, that's what he wanted. And so to have a kid, that's all you have been having him doing. That's all he knows. What else? What would Thomas be able to do? Also, was this a punishment towards Jesse?
Absolutely.
Which
Absolutely
is, I feel
it
like,
was.
why Walt reiterated, like, your actions have consequences.
Yeah.
You are now 42 minutes late.
Oh, did Walt know that that was going to happen?
Probably not. Because again, this is the piece though. While we know Gus is a bad guy, at the same time, because he's presenting himself so professionally, Walt still can't, like, he knows he's a bad, scary, dangerous guy. But I still think he doesn't know what he
realizes
would do.
the level that...
Yes, exactly.
A loud, harsh cry. Walt Whitman's was barbaric.
Yo. What is yop?
Kevin, what is yop? Yop.
What?
This crustacean.
What the heck's a yop?
Yop is a yell. I'll be right back.
I'm yapping on the ops.
That's what I said.
Somebody needs to write that into their rap song.
Okay to use your bathroom? Right?
I don't think you need to run the water to have your little conversations anymore around her.
Well, it might be Walt Jr.
Oh, that is true.
Look, I hope you're not waiting for an apology because I did not rat you out. I was looking out for your best interests as well as my own. And I stand
At least
by
he said that part.
decision 100%, so we'll just have to agree to disagree.
I feel really bad for her. Poor
I'll be back.
Tomas.
But first, more details on
Now we're gonna see his reaction. He's gonna get it. It's gonna click.
Valley. Police have yet to release a statement, but sources indicate that 11-year-old Tomas Cantillo may have been the victim of a gang-related execution. An anonymous tip brought police to a playground in the 4700 block of
They
8th
killed him on a
Avenue late last night.
playground.
Paramedics were called to the scene, but were unable to revive the boy.
Hey, did you know your dad and I are thinking about maybe starting a business together?
Now he's like, okay, yeah.
Yes, and
It's
also
dangerous,
like
and all my
he should
family's
realize
involved,
you
and,
have kids too. Like
yes, this was always bad. Again, it's like he says in the Fly episode, I
I'm
think.
sorry. I have to go.
like
Oh,
you
wow.
think you're protecting your family, like
Well, there was a time for him to die. He was supposed to die. You know what I mean? Like,
and Skylar was never
Yeah.
supposed to know or
Right.
be involved. Yeah, don't. No, dude. Oh my god. There it goes. So you gonna try
oh,
to do a
that's
hit?
why he did it. Because you know how when he was going to do things like he really didn't want to do, he would like get high, like when he was going to go
Yeah.
talk to the people at the ATM. Oh my God, no. Oh God, Jesse. Oh, Jesse.
Well, I mean, like even Walt smoked
Yeah.
weed, like when he with that kid in the basement, like
Yeah. Well, I just thought he was doing it just because he's upset, but now that like shaking and everything else makes more sense. Like he's doing it because he wants to have the ability to be way more brave than. Oh God, Jesse.
He's gonna get
Oh
killed.
God, Jesse. Oh, hopefully Walt catches him.
Or it's not the same guys. What if they move them off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kill that kid, move them off that block.
Yeah.
Like
This like start and stop right now is like getting me. Oh, I feel sick. Oh, I feel sick. Oh my God. And they know you and he knows him. And like, even if he doesn't do it, like this looks bad. I'm so stressed.
dude, what the Oh my God. Oh my God. He freaking mowed them over. Oh my God. No way.
Run.
Wow. Okay, so if there was any turning point for Walter,
Well,
that's like
that was it.
That was it. That was it.
I mean, yeah.
Holy sh! Holy sh! He. I was like, oh, like I imagined his car pulling up, but I wasn't thinking he was gonna just
mow them
plow them
down.
down, and then get out and put the one guy down that's like, and his legs are all mangled, and he's still trying to reach for his gun. That's literally, I was gonna say that earlier. I was like, he's better off just calling a hit, like on them, like in some way. But like, there's two of them, so like he would need to like wait and like
It doesn't
plan a
even
hit.
matter
But,
though
like,
because
that,
it's
like,
Gus. Like,
that's like
they just started war. I can't believe this is episode 12 and not episode 13. I cannot even fathom how messy this next episode's gonna be. Do you know what I'm saying? That wasn't the end of the season. We have one
more episode. We have one more episode in this season.
Yeah.
Yep, one more episode.
One more. Half measure, full measure.
Yep. Jesus.
I am stressed.
Jesus, that was great. That's probably the craziest thing I've seen in the show so far.
The most unanticipated for sure.
The most, yeah. That was
it.
Like
that.
that.
Even everything with the twins. Oh my God, that was this season too. Can we talk about that? Like, how far back does the twins feel right now?
And that's the thing. It's like, even though like Jesse and Walt's relationship is obviously like operates on like a toxic. They
Yeah.
have a level of toxicity together, like, but they do care. Like Walt does genuinely care
Yeah.
about Jesse, and I think he does care. He cares about his family, but he also really cares about Jesse. Like he really loves like the people that he feels entitled. Like he feels like responsible for.
Right.
I think like
Yes,
it's
that's
he
it.
feels
That's- it's
responsible for
responsible.
certain
Yep.
people
Mhm.
in his life, but Walt is also not understanding the level of
I mean, I think he gets it now.
Of gussery. I don't even
I
know
think
what
he
you
gets
would
it now.
call
He
it.
just started war. Like, he knows this. Like, and I don't know if he just, like, I can't wait to see how he explains his actions in the next episode. Like, he's like, I did it out of, like, because he knew. The moment he saw that, that's why, like, he got up
But
and he was like, he knew what Jesse was going to do. He knew
Would
what
they
that
know?
would do to Jesse.
Would they know that was him? Like,
I mean, his car is gonna have...
I think getting hit by the car is one thing, but then getting hit and shot in the head is maybe... The shot to the head is maybe...
And I feel like Gus has eyes everywhere.
Yeah,
he knows
like there
what he
has to be
did.
there has to be people
Did he really
like
think
all
Jesse
over the
wasn't gonna
blocks
try?
there. There has to be blocks, people
Absolutely.
on the block, like blocks
Always.
all over there.
There's always somebody watching.
Like if that's their turf, then yeah, I was gonna say then it has to be a chain reaction. Like
there's always
like,
somebody watching.
They're right there, but there could be somebody like literally just right on the other corner.
Yeah. This is actually wild.
Wow,
and the
this
fact
is
that
the
that wasn't 12, the fact that that was 12 and not 13 is just
This
like,
is the first time I've felt like I would like to watch the next episode. Like I'm like ready to watch the next episode. Like that's the first time I've ever felt like that. Dude, and this is kind of a cool cool turning point too, because this is halfway through the entire series. Is basically where we're at right now. Like, well, once we hit this season, like the end of the season is the halfway point of the entire series. So like if Walt now finally at season 3 is willing, like he just killed somebody.
Like point blank, period.
Point blank, period.
With no,
killed him.
with no, I mean, he did deceive Jesse, but like,
no hesitation. He did not hesitate.
No, he did not.
Once he was doing it, he did not hesitate. Like him getting out of the car, kicking the gun to the side, and being like, "Nah, bam!" And he's like, "Run."
And that's the piece. I think that's like we've been waiting to Walt just to say, "I'm bad," and he finally has. So like, I can appreciate it more. I appreciate it more. Like,
Which
you
is
know what
why,
I mean? Like,
yes, exactly. And that's why when people are like...
When he's towing the line, it just makes him obnoxious because he's not grasping the reality. Like, homie, you can't just go home and be dad.
Yeah, which is why at first, like, with Jesse, like, I was like, oh, okay, like, bad's bad. You know, like, when he said, like, I'm bad, like, I'm evil. Like, I just have to accept, like, this about myself. Like, I'm accepting that I'm an evil person and I'm bad. And, like... Great, good on you, Jesse. But then I think Jesse's stuck in trauma loops over things where it's like, which is something that like, I feel like when I read comments, nobody really talks about that. I guess we talk about that. And it's something that I've read in books in regards to psychology that people will do things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We naturally do things that we relive our past and we want, like, you hate the feeling of those things that make you feel terrible.
But it's so familiar.
But it's so familiar that you are willing, like if you, until you may not realize it, but people are willing to continue to relive certain cycles and certain traumas. And that's why people are like, oh, like I always end up in this type of relationship or this is always happening to me. Like this is always happening. This is always happening. It's because you've conditioned,
whether it's conscious or subconsciously,
you
going
have
for what's
conditioned your
comfortable.
body and your mind to live in a familiar past. And so it's like if you want to break certain cycles, you can't be living in the past. And I think Jesse, he is stuck, like the thing with like the kids, right? Like we've seen like something really traumatic happen with the ATM and like this little kid. And also he has issues from when he was a kid and with his brother, even like his younger brother, and like the relationship with his family. Like I think that affects his view around like once a kid's involved, like he physically like, and like his trauma basically takes over and it creates this response in him that he can't control. Like he has no way of seeing through that and being like, okay, this is a pattern. And why, like Jesse is not ever, and with the drugs combined, like him doing drugs, he's never doing anything that's allowing him to say, okay, like I see that this is a pattern for me. Why do I feel this way though? Like he's not looking back into far enough into the past to say like, oh, this happened and this is actually why I feel this way. He's not finding the root of the feeling. And I mean, obviously this is not the show that he would figure that out in, but I'm just saying like this is like a real, like what I'm talking about is what is written in books by neuroscientists and like doctors and things.
Girl, I know.
Yeah, I know,
it was
but
just the
it's
way
just,
you said it.
This is
I'm
not the
sorry.
show where we figure that out. This is not the show like where The writers would not, like, I'm sure the writers are probably aware of that, because I think
That's why they keep doing it.
in order to write characters who fall into things with similar emotional patterns and emotional traumas, I think the writers
There's
are probably
insight to it,
aware
yes,
of
yeah.
how psychology works on some level. I think it's
Human
very
behavior.
obviously,
You have,
yes.
Yeah.
So, but it's just,
I mean, they definitely have a good viewpoint on just the Fly episode alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, now that getting to the end of this episode, it does make, I'm wanting a little bit more of Jesse, like, and his backwards decisions. Like, I'm not, I think it comes across as annoying. I see a lot of people being like, why do they give Jesse so much grace? Blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a lot of people who argue that people give Jesse grace, and it's not necessarily giving him grace. I think that they wrote him that if you don't understand, or if you haven't read something on how trauma can affect you in the longevity of other situations, like you've explained this, Arianna knows it too. She's explained it as well. It's like, if you don't understand like that topic of conversation, I think a lot of what Jesse's doing could come across as irritating in context to all
Because
the
you
other
just want to
things in the
shake
show.
them. It's like people who don't realize, it's like you want to shake and be like, because it does. Because it's like, we know how this works. It doesn't work out well, but why are
Yeah.
we still going to it?
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
And this is just such like an inflated situation that
Mhm.
they're in. Like, this isn't like just interpersonal relationships that Jesse's having problems with. It's years of drug abuse and like people getting killed and like making meth, and he's working for this crazy like gang drug lord essentially. So it's just like, there's a lot, like I said, it's not the place that we figured that out, but like, I feel like knowing that, it does put Jesse's character into a little bit more context as to why there are certain things where it's like, oh, why is that where he draws the line? Like, why would a kid be where he draws the line? It's okay, like, think on Jesse's traumatic past. Think about the things that would cause him to be triggered based on the things that had been very traumatizing for him.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Jane. Like, he's willing to peddle drugs to another girl that he is dating because, like, that's his familiar past. That's the thing that he's familiar with. If you date toxic people, then you're always going to be putting yourself in situations where you're going to continue to date toxic people until you realize, why do I want to feel this way?
Right.
Why do I continue to feel this way? And why does this pattern continue to come up? And until you do that work, like, you're going to always end up in the same situations. Like, if you're not
actively trying to change or get to the root of it,
yeah, like, you have to figure out what is the root of that feeling. Okay, I feel like Jesse feels he feels angry. What's the root of that feeling? Like, it's in regards to the kid. Like, why is now all of a sudden a kid being involved gonna change the entire whole perspective?
Like, you aren't gonna sell the girl drugs, and now you're gonna just actively date her, and
or like, she has a kid, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like,
That's what I'm saying, but you were just
it's like, he, like, okay, and even him, like, this is a good contrast too that they put in there that I almost didn't realize. Like, him dating the prostitute, he obviously doesn't see that as a serious relationship. That's casual, right? That is casual sex. Him dating this girl from the AA meeting, he sees more of a level with her. Like, she's almost closer to being on his level in some way. So he would date her more seriously, still would push drugs because he wants to relive the cycle of Jane, because he's still stuck in that trauma loop and hasn't figured out how to release that feeling. So he's going to push his trauma onto this new girl he's with by getting her to do drugs. Figures out she has a kid, so now it's no longer okay. Prostitute apparently also has a kid named Patrick.
Yeah.
He's willing to push her to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't view, like, he's not creating a simulation. Like, his tie is,
and that's
the trauma to being in a relationship and having something go wrong.
Yes.
Whereas, like, a casual relationship, if something goes wrong, he wasn't, like, relating it to a past for him. That's not something that relates to the past for him, because he doesn't care about it.
I also think it's a good parallel too to bring up right now, because as well, it's kind of like Walt. You know how we give Walt so much shit because he talks down to Jesse the way he does everything else. But at the end of the day, Jesse still does the same thing with the people in his life where he thinks he's a little bit better than people. You know what I mean?
Where he's like doing something that's smarter.
Or smarter or better.
Yeah.
And just because, and he's doing it with, he's not doing it with the same gusto of condescension the way Walt does, but he's still doing it the same way, you know what I mean? Like, having her go do that, like,
Because then that's why I'm saying, like, he
The
sees himself
consequences.
as
Yeah,
above,
yeah.
like
Yep.
he's not in a mutual relationship with this
Yeah.
person, so
It's
he's
always
not going
been
to
transactional.
Yeah,
you
it's always
know?
transactional,
Yeah.
so he's not going to respect.
Mhm.
He's not
Her
going to respect
life
the
and
moral
what
boundaries the same. Just because she has a kid, well, they're not. He doesn't view her as equal.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But the girl that he wants from the AA meeting, they're a little bit more. I think he still thinks he's smarter than her because he's trying to do all this stuff in the background. But like,
but you're right. Yeah.
It will. Then it's like,
then
okay,
he's like,
then,
oh, morally, you can't do drugs because you have a kid.
You have a kid. You can't
that's
do that.
There.
And like, now I have some investment in you because.
Yeah.
Because I feel something from my past that's familiar.
Yeah.
I feel something could be familiar that I've been looking for to recreate. Even, and it's such an odd thing, because if you don't realize that you're trying to recreate your familiar past and relive your traumas, if you don't realize that you're doing that, then you're stuck in this weird perpetual cycle. Like, you really don't see it. It's hard to explain.
It's really hard to explain.
I mean, people have dedicated their life's work to explaining this. Like, there are so many books.
Google PTSD and trauma loop.
Yeah, and
It's really
even
come up.
I feel like one of the most notorious books is The Body Keeps the Score. It's a tough read. It's a tough read. It's written by a doctor. And it's written by a doctor because of how it reads. It feels like reading.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's just very analytical.
Yes,
and
about about something that's like, if you're
you'll be reading one paragraph and you're like, wow, that paragraph just traumatized me. And it's like, and then he's like, okay, and this is how the brain works, and like literally just goes right into it. It's a very, very analytical read. But it is totally worth the time that it takes to read that book and understand the material. I'm reading it now for the second time. And like, so it's just interesting watching a show and having some knowledge on like just some of the awful things that people have lived through and how they will continue to recreate those conditions in order to continue to feel the same feelings. I think we're more attached. And it's all chemical responses. It's just how our body reacts to things, how your hormones will fluctuate when you're in prolonged periods of stress. And that's what I'm saying. When you add drugs,
else, and then drugs,
then adding drugs or alcohol on top of it, like you just have a cocktail
for disaster
of disaster. But then, and it's like Jesse's young enough, but I think Jesse could have the opportunity to figure that out. But if he's going to continue to do drugs, then
I mean, at the end of the day, who knows how much longer either one of them is about to live.
For real, because that's a big deal. What just happened is
them,
like the car was moving so fast,
borderline
you almost
butchered
couldn't
them.
see it.
Like they were a deer on 25, and they were
like literally, like the car was like literally like the car was moving so fast, you almost can't see it.
Like he took them out,
like
out. Like
homie's
homie
up here in the sky.
Yes,
homie's like 8 feet in the air. Mike, when he goes to Walt's house
and does the story.
That story.
God,
okay, the story alone, but like his acting.
No, that's what I was gonna say. His acting in the story is just like you can feel the disgust he had for that man and everything else. Like,
I also just like felt like that was the first time I felt like, even watching the guy, what is that guy's name? Who's the actor for Walt? I would just call him Walt.
Bryan Cranston.
Okay, Brian, like even his face, like they were doing a lot of facial acting in that one moment. And that is the first time I think I've noticed like Bryan Cranston having a sort of a different like tone with Walt that I haven't noticed previously.
Like the pure fear.
Because like Walt, like he was acting how he normally has Walt act when Mike shows up and he's like, "What are you doing at my house?" Like that's very like traditional to how I've seen Walt.
Because again, Walt doesn't realize, and this is the other piece, so why that scene is so important and why that acting is so important, why he goes into that is because like up until this point, Walt really does think like he can just get away with phone calls and, track phones and throw burner phones, and that he still somehow thinks that he is above
it's almost
him
like this
and
Hollywood
Saul.
level of crime.
Yes, he still thinks exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Like it's like
he's
this
still
Hollywood level of crime.
playing like a movie in his head of what he's actually doing. Like he knows to a certain degree that he's in deep. Like he saw what could happen, right? He saw what happened to one of the twins. He knows, but it hasn't fully clicked. And I truly think finally, because even when he gets sassy with Mike, like, what are you doing here? Like, blah, 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 blah. And when Mike tells that story and he actually looks at Mike and knows that Mike used to be a beat cop and that he had a grandkid, and like, it's like something clicks in his brain. So when he does have that look, it's like, oh, shit.
I was going to say, like, Bryan Cranston changed the tone of Walt.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he changed the tone of Walt in this episode. Like, he did an incredible job of shifting, like, even to the very end scene where he's like, run. Like, this is the first time, like, in terms of his facial acting, where, like, he's showing, like, almost terror.
Like, but he's like, he finally realizes, like, this for real. It's like
real.
That piece, like, has
and your
finally,
kids
and, like,
are not safe.
And
like,
you have, this is what you have to be now. Like, you can't, again, it's finally great to see that, like, he has to choose to full send it. You can't keep teetering this line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything about, and I know obviously the writer's intention, but that's why it's hard, because you can tell that he was trying so hard to hold on to that piece of where, no, I'm just a family guy and I'm just doing it for my family. Like, no, dude, you're a criminal.
Like,
and you
you're
work for
criminal.
a big bad
and I
criminal.
think that's what we were wanting too, and that's what I've been saying. It'd be one thing, like, if Walt just finally accepts, like, you're a bad guy, like, you were doing bad things. And like we said in this, there's no line to evil. Like, you're a bad guy, you're evil. Like,
Once you
be
step,
evil.
period. Just be
and
evil.
even just like, and I always think back to Barry and NoHo Hank, and Barry being like, oh, do I not tell you that? Like, or Hank's like, do I not tell you that? Yeah, you're the worst guy I know.
Yeah,
like, you're the evilest person I know. Like, you are so evil. Like, you're great at being evil. And Barry's like, no. It's like, that's how Walt would be. He's like, no, I'm a family man. No, I'm not evil. And it's like, yes, you are. Like, just be evil. Like,
again, we probably would like you more if you just said you were a bad guy.
No, I would hate you all the same, but I would just have to just let you, like, I'd be like, he said it with his chest.
He said it with his chest. You can respect it.
We talk about this all the time.
If
He
you
committed to his bit.
If you commit to the bit, we respect you at least.
Yeah, I would just have to deal with it. Like, I'll find my own way to stomach it. Like, I'll be like, yep, that's Walt. Like,
it's
Walt out here doing Walt things.
It's Walt out here doing Walt things.
And that's how I feel about Jesse. I'm like, that's Jesse. Like, Jesse's out here
doing
being Jesse.
things,
Like, you know what Jesse's gonna do. And that's what's interesting about the writing. Like, I think the writers of this show obviously are very self-aware of like the dynamics of just.
Like, they really do. They do a great job.
I know. I at the end of this, I'm definitely going to do some research on the directors and like where they came up with like writing and like why. Because I think like I love, we're so spoiled with like Succession and things where they had these like behind the episode, which there's extras here, but like it's not really like,
it's not the same thing. It's like 10 baddest kind of moments, like whatever,
like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
but they were explaining okay, so another thing about us, which you probably already know. Well, actually, if you're only watching Breaking Bad, you probably don't know this about us, but we love lore. So if you guys haven't figured it out, like, we also really, really get analytical in our own brains. So if we can see, like, so having the writers and the directors give their reason of why they did certain thing with characters and why it was written and give the explanation, it's like, bet that's how I felt, that's why, or like, oh, that's why that felt so gross, you know? Like,
because it's interesting to see like they're like, and
the intention, because it's art, so art's always meant to be interpreted. Like, how you see something and how you interpret it isn't always gonna be the same way I see something and interpret it versus the audience, you know what I mean?
And that's the point. So, but it's also like,
it's cool,
it's interesting to see like the writers are like, this is our intention, and they know, like, there's like, being at the writers table would be so interesting because they know, like, they're smart. Like, you, like, to get this from point A to point Z to full production, and it's like a finished thing, like, there has been so much thought and time that went into this, especially for 6 seasons to be available. Like, they know exactly how people are going to react. They know exactly how to get a rise out of certain audience members. Like, they know the audience.
Yeah, they do.
They know the audience. And that's why it's so, like, it's like, I don't know, it feels like a mini social experiment to me, because it's like we get to, like, I just even our comment section, like, it's very interesting. It's like a little social experiment. And I'm not saying that, like, it's bad, but it is interesting because it's like,
tell the world you have autism without telling the world you have
it's just
autism.
interesting. It's interesting to look at. Like,
no,
it's just an interesting thing to think of, because
I completely agree.
Because there are times where it's like, certain forms of media like really can like get a response out of us.
Absolutely.
And that's the point. Like that's and like you said, art is meant to make you like feel something.
Yeah.
And even if it's bad in terms of like morality bad, or if it's bad in terms of like it's just bad art and you're pissed that somebody's selling it for a crazy amount of money, or like if it's good and like it's very interesting how human emotion works. I don't know.
Oh my God.
And it's not even like I have like much more to contribute. Like I don't have, there's no solution or like nothing's wrong.
No,
like,
nothing. It's just great. It really is. It's
but
just
now
like,
that I'm like, okay, like I'm like, now that I'm kind of like moving forward, like I said, this is like a turning point of the seasons for me. I don't know why. Like I just like, I'm like, now I'm like, okay, like I see what the writers are doing. At least I think I see what they're doing. And I'm excited to do research after we're done watching the whole thing to really see like what their intention was in some places and what their intention with the audience is.
Yeah.
Because that's the point. Like when you're writing something, like you're writing to engage an audience, and it's like there's engagement here.
Yes.
If you look at that's why I'm like, it's just interesting. If you see what people feel or have to say, or like the things that really stick with them, it is very interesting.
I'm sorry, I can't keep. I'm not cat. I just agree with you so much. I just like love how you word it. I just genuinely,
wonder.
I just want to keep listening to you talk.
It's just one of those. It's just one of those things that comes up. For me, I feel like once we are watching certain things,
right,
and certain points of material that get a really good rise out of viewers, and people become very opinionated on certain topics, and it's just, and again, like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just interesting because then I have to start to make the assumption that the writers know their audience.
Yeah.
Because I feel like mostly, I know we do reaction videos, but like we work with a lot of people and have talked with quite a bit of people who are actually very interested in writing and creating the material in order to then create a show. And people who have directed or worked in special effects on shows. Like Chad's connected with so many people at this point that it's more than the reaction for us. That it starts to become like, it's like, oh, that's crazy. Like, could you imagine like making a show and then it's like, even with like the small scope of just our comment section, like the way people like get riled up or fixated on certain things, it's like the writers knew that people would be responding in certain ways. They knew that, and it's just crazy. Like, how do they feel?
I know.
And do other people recognize like what we're talking about right now? Like, how many people watch the reaction to that don't comment, and don't contribute to the conversation in regards to like even our
the actual
our tiny perspective,
our
tiny like perspective. Like, I don't know, like imagine asking, oh my God, like where I want to see interviews. I know there's interviews out there with the directors and writers
to start conducting.
And if there's
studies.
not,
I think
if there's
you would
not
get the hardest.
If there's not, I'm gonna find
boner.
them. I'm gonna start tweeting people. I'm gonna be like, I need to interview you.
Is it still called tweeting even though it's X?
I'm gonna X you.
I'm gonna X you. Sorry, I literally like just don't. Even use
know.
it, so I don't know.
I don't know. Chad, have you watched any interviews with like the writers or directors for Breaking Bad? Okay.
Because she's got nerd boner on research already.
Oh my God. Like this episode finally,
no.
like
episode
now
12
I'm
was
like
stupid.
Now I'm like
it's
I'm like
crazy.
I need to be at that table. Like I need to know what, like, because I feel like I don't know. It's so interesting. Like
I remember how crazy it was for like just TV. Like this was like network television. Like, TV
Yeah. I know. It feels like something that would be just like HBO released today.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be something that's like on AMC, like that you turn on when you're having dinner with your family.
Next to like cowboy shows.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think
that is the only thing I think of when I think of Ames.
I just think like this episode and like the conversation we had today, like I really at the end want to watch like interviews with the writers because I feel like I'm missing it like I have some perspective now on like like even the comment sections or like how people interact with the material even on a really small scale such as like reaction videos. That it's like, I don't know, I'm finding it very interesting right now. Like my brain is like on fire. Like it's like tingling. Like I need to see an interview.
I like need to get in touch with like the IRB so she can go conduct a study right now. Like
yeah,
she's
because
straight up. I feel like all I want to give her.
Like they almost created like a social experiment, like with the material in their show and like the reaction that it engages out of people. That's like crazy. It's just weird. Yes, and I think they know that. I haven't watched an interview, but I think that the writers understand. Like, it feels almost like...
I honestly think some of it's just of its time. I think that we were used to a different type of character back then that we've gotten away from more.
Okay.
The younger you are, the more divorced you are from the characters that we were used to. Because I mean, like...
But I'm not, though.
See, okay, we need to,
you know what I mean, though? Like, I could kind of see that, though, but I don't, that's 18. You know what I mean?
I'm also curious, though, if you saw it during that time, if you would have felt different because you would have been more used to...
I never would have watched it.
Interesting.
The thing is that you didn't. So
yeah.
You know,
but that, yeah.
If you had, like, a boyfriend who was like, this is...
No.
We gotta watch this.
So, in what... so, like, in terms of characters, Chad's basically saying that there are characters around the time that this came out that we were, at that time, would have been used to specific characters or specific settings, basically is what you're saying. And then it's like as time has gone on in shows, then we move farther away from like specific types of characters or specific types of writing. And for it, this is unique to its time because there wouldn't have been.
It's just kind of dated. It's like
but at this time, would there have been anything else like it?
Like what would you like?
Sopranos,
Didn't see
okay.
that.
Yeah, and I don't okay, this also we need to have we're going to do we just like Succession, we need to have a whole bigger conversation about this show too.
Well, go lay back down. You're probably having a
All right.
fever dream on
Love
top
you.
of it.
Yeah, the audio is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Anyway, guys, yeah, thanks for watching this episode with us. Sorry, I just like had like a brain moment.
I liked it. I liked her brain.
Oh my god, it feels like my brain's on fire right now.
I love that feeling.
Like I actually
love
am
when
looking forward.
I love when a new hyper focus like Twitch kicks in. It's the best.
I know,
it's so much better than like
because like
it's the best natural high of all time. I'm
This
like,
will
I'm going to be I'm going to do so much research.
This will change the rest of my experience for this show.
I'm gonna know so much at the end of it.
Like this is a timeline altering experience for me for basically like 6 months of my life. Like this is just as this was a turning point for Walt in this episode, this is now a turning point for me in viewing. So like I'm gonna be thinking about it, like all the intricacies, and I'm like, oh, did they do that? Like I'm gonna be thinking about like, oh, like it's like, oh, I'm just gonna be thinking about the writers the whole time. The whole time.
I'm sorry, I love it. It's unmatched. I love it.
Oh my god, it just makes me want to like read a book.
Oh my god, you're just so much better at putting the inside thoughts that I have in my head out loud. Because I can't do it. I just go nonverbal when I get that excited. I'm like,
What?
oh my god, but you like say it. So that's why I'm just like dying and I'm just like, no, exactly.
Once it clicks for me, it's long-winded. And I know I'm long-winded, but like, god dang. That's because it's like all this time has been building up and then I'm like, oh my god, like my thought finally completes. Like it's like bing,
It's
like and then I'm like
finally
"Ugh."
everything finally already fully
Yeah,
loaded.
like it's like buffering the whole time.
time.
Like I've been buffering for 3 seasons and then it's like bing, it's ready. Like it's finally ready.
Okay, so when we make that merch, it's gonna be like I've been buffering for 3 seasons.
It'll just be like our little like chibis with like
Yeah.
the buffer things. Like we're just like, huh, like thinking about something really intensely. Yeah, basically. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. And if you've made it through our discussion, I love you. Yeah, thank you for listening to the discussion. This is a good point to have a longer discussion. We're halfway through almost with
Yeah, it is.
the next episode completing this season. So, all right, guys. Well, love you all. And we will catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.